Hi everybody, this is Pete with Old City Press, and today I want to talk about letterpress wedding invitations and how much they cost. To really understand how much letterpress wedding invitations cost, it's to understand what goes into it. So when you think of an invitation, right, so say you're getting married and you're going online and you're going to Google and you're typing in letterpress wedding invitations, or you're typing in, you know, best invitation companies, or you're typing in, you go to Pinterest and you're searching and you're scouring, trying to get to the bottom of Pinterest, which I think is probably impossible. Or you go to Etsy and you're just kind of going through Etsy, and Etsy's kind of all, it's like a shotgun, man. That shit is like all over the place. So you have those, basically those are the big options. Or you can go to like mint.com, which probably is the most structured approach, right? They have like a good way of kind of calculating how much things cost. Or like Bella. All right, so you go to all these places, right? So, and you find a couple invitations that you like. So what you do next is you contact the company and you say, hey, I love your invitation, right? So say you went to our site and you found this invitation. You say, I love that invitation. How much is that invitation? I need 100 of them. Okay, good question. So what we normally ask you then is this. A couple things go into it. What kind of paper do you need? Like, what is the paper weight? Is it like 100 pound, 118 pound, you know, 140 pound, 160 pound, 185 pound, 236 pound? Normally companies have predefined weights that they use. So not most people don't carry all those weights. So for instance, like, and I'll just use us for this reference because that's what I know best. We carry 118, we carry 185, we carry 236, right? 90% of our work is done on a 185 pound range. So, okay, so that's what you would say. So we'd come back, we'd suggest that to you. We'd say, here are 3 options of paper, and here's the thicknesses of them. And so, okay, so you're gonna say that. And then the second thing is the colors. How many colors do you want? You may say, I want 1 color, 2 color, 3 colors. Can I get a price for all of them? So, the way you wanna understand colors though is this, is every time we make a plate, or every time we make an invitation, if it's a 2-color invitation, that means we have to make 2 plates, right? So this is 1 plate, we have to make another plate just like this to match on top of that and run it through the Vandercook twice, right? So here, like 2 different plates for a 2-color invitation. That means we have to kind of load the machine up, put the ink on the machine, run it through once, boom, 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 set it back up again, put the second color on, run it through again, boom, 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 and then you'd have your invitations done for a 2-color. If it's 3-color, we have to clean the machine up, we'd have to create another plate, we have to put the ink on and run it through. So there is some hand labor to this process. So that's one of the reasons why we'd ask about the colors. The quantity, how many do you need? Right, so when you think even on the lower end of cost for this, if you're thinking of a cotton paper, like 110 pound pearl, or 110 pound like, or 118 pound Savoy, or 110 pound crane. I couldn't think of the word crane. So 110 pound crane or 118 pound pearl, right? Even on those, which are probably entry level cotton papers, I mean, they're normally anywhere between like, 60 cents a sheet for 8.5 by 11, right? I mean, there's probably a designer out there printing out their scouring the earth to get it for 55 cents, I don't know, but so 60 cents a sheet, all the way up to like 236 pound paper, which is about 120, 130 a sheet. You do get a little bit of discount when you're buying like $5,000 or $6,000 worth, but generally speaking, for an average printer, it is about 120 to 130 dollars a sheet. So the paper is a pretty expensive cost. There's always like a 10% to 20% overage on top of paper. So if you need 100 invitations, you got to look at it as from a printer standpoint. They're going, I need at least 110, but probably more than like 125. So there's an extra cost built into that because it is just part of the process. Okay, and then the second thing is colors. What colors are you going to use? So, you have ink, right? And so what you can do is if you have a couple options. One is just to pick ink that the printer has available, right? And that could be one of the standard Pantone colors. It could be some that they've bought maybe custom in the past or whatever. The second thing is, and that's usually cheaper because it's already made. It's already, there's no mixing involved. The second one is to get a color that's mixed, right? Which means they pick a Pantone number out of a Pantone guide and they mix the color up for you. Well, that's fine too, right? But there's that could be 30 minutes to 2 hours depending on the kind of day you're having to mix the ink. And then the third thing is just to buy the ink custom from somebody, right? So, I'm thinking like we have letterpress ink, but their custom Pantone's like $40 for the pound. If you go to like Vanson, it's like 60 or 65. So you think if you had 1 or 2 custom colors, there could be that additional, $40 to $120 based on ink alone, right? So that's one of the things to keep in mind too, the kind of color that you're using. An important thing to remember about ink color, just as a complete caveat, is if you're mixing your invitations with a bunch of different other digital printing, and we always suggest, and there's probably a lot of debate on this in the letterpress world of like the 100 people that do letterpress, but you know, if you go with a custom Pantone, you buy a custom Pantone, you know, it's machine made Pantone versus hand mixed. If you're mixing with other colors, you get a little better quality out of a machine mixed custom Pantone versus a hand mixed Pantone. I'm sure there's printers out there in the world that'll argue with me about that. But, you know, that's from our standpoint. That's from what's worked for us. So it's just something to keep in mind too. Okay, and then the last thing is, are you having a design created? Do you have a design, or are you picking a stock design? So there's a design piece to it. So those are kind of things that kind of go into letterpress wedding invitations overall. And then a lot of it is based on the labor it is, right? So we're pretty efficient on how we run our operation because of the machines that we have, because of the kind of paper cutting stuff that we have, because we're more of a commercial type shop. But if somebody's on Etsy, and they're working from a CP Pilot, it's a great machine, but they would be doing a lot more manual labor. The second thing too is the plate cost, right? So you think that's labor cost. The second thing is the plate cost. So like we make plates here, right? And I can only speak for me, so I keep saying me. We make the plates here, so we get, you know, it's a lot less expensive. I think we're paying like 15 cents an inch for these. Where if somebody's using Boxcar or a plate maker, they're gonna pay anywhere between 65 to 70 cents an inch for this. So this is 8.5 by 11. So it'd be 93 inches times 65 cents an inch. And if you had two colors, you know, you'd have two of these plates. So you can see where that cost itself is kind of expensive. So those are kind of things that kind of go into invitations, and that's why the price can be all over to the place depending on who's doing the actual printing and what's going into it. So okay, yeah, I just want to give you a quick overview on what it takes to create an invitation and what kind of goes into the pricing of an invitation. If you're actually looking for invitations or looking for pricing invitation, you can just check out our website, and we have we'll send you over our pricing guide for that. Sometimes that's, you know, easier to see too. And the reason why we don't put it on our website is because the price changes, right? So every few months we measure our material cost, and sometimes paper cost is less, sometimes paper cost is more. So things like that. So it's hard to say like, here's the cost of this and it's always gonna hold this price, because sometimes it is cheaper, so we give that discount to you. It's like gas. Sometimes it's more expensive, so we increase it a bit for that. So that's just something to keep in mind. Or if we get a piece of equipment that might be more efficient, then it means the cost is gonna be less. So those are things to just kind of keep in mind overall. So, okay, well, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and just drop them below, or you can send us an email at any time. If you like this video, we try to do a video once-ish a week. I'm trying to set up a schedule so I get it on a certain day of the week, and as soon as I figure out that schedule, I'll let you guys know. But if you'd like to find out more, then just go ahead and subscribe. All right, thank you so much. Take care.